specifically about habits and attachments. And so I have an idea what they are, but I just wanted to drill down a bit further and just hear your opinion. So what constitutes a habit?
Usually it has something to do with an identification with it. Um, I just get nervous when I'm around, or I'm just a housewife, or I
Mm,
have knee-jerk reactions that you don't even
mm-hmm,
think about. Like
mm,
I'm afraid of high places, or I don't like to go out, or um,
mm-hmm. Okay,
I have a great
okay,
car. My car is
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Whatever you think is yours or you, when you
right,
identify with it, that's an attachment.
right. So the identification is the key to it. And
Yeah,
as soon as you start talking,
yeah, and that even includes uh, all through. Well, first through family. I'm a brother. I'm a
mm,
sister. I'm a father. I'm a daughter. Secondly, we do this that way, and these are
mm,
my opinions. This is what's
mm,
true. And then even into gender. I am a man. I am a
mm,
woman. I am a therapist. I am a
mm,
musician. I am this or that. Those are temporary and
mm,
not you.
okay, yeah, gotcha. So pretty much everything. So
Well, yeah, yeah, I think you got
yeah,
it. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, everything that's temporary. Yeah, just when you said that word, everything that's temporary is it's not
Yeah.
really you. Mm.
And what makes it nefs is it's a lie.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, to be put it really dumb it down simplistically. I was just sort of thinking about habits and I thought, oh, okay, so this is just a really simplistic example. So I like eating potato chips, and um, I can, I could eat potato chips every night. There's been periods where I have done that, just enjoy, sitting down, having potato chips. But I'm also aware that they're not good for me. So, I can say no, but I do like eating potato chips. So is this like an example how the maps can rationalize things
Oh, they're
and
good
sort
at
of
that. That's
yeah,
one of their prime skills.
mm, mm, okay, interesting. Mm. Yeah, so part of me thinks, oh yeah, eating potato chips is a habit, but then I think, oh, but I can go without it. So maybe it's not a habit. So then that's just a really simplistic, example amongst other things.
Okay. Can I
Well,
ask you a question?
sure.
How is habits and attachments are they different than addiction?
Uh, ooh, ooh.
Made you think.
Not, yeah, not really. I mean, it's a wide spectrum, but not really. No, generally I would say no. They're not
Okay,
different.
you're basing this probably on the blood or the chemical
Mm,
or actually it's a neurotransmitter thing, isn't it?
mm.
That so
Well,
there's a neurophysiological reason why some people have addictions,
yeah,
but there's
yeah,
also psychological
yes.
reasons.
Well, it made me think about how, people get attached to certain people or to certain relationships. And yeah, exactly what you're saying. So sort of that sort of psychological reasoning, and they become attached to certain relationships or certain people, even though these relationships might not be good for them. Oh, we've all been there, Shane.
Right. So
Yeah.
so talking about habits and attachments, that was Alameen's question, and we talked a little bit about that, but now we're talking. My question was, is that different than an addiction?
Ah,
And I think addiction is, well, like I say, we were talking about it's either psychological or chemical or neurophysiological, and is requires more effort to abstain.
Mm.
Would you agree, Alameen?
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, it takes a lot more effort to refrain and to go against the grain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Habits and attachments sometimes, well, habits is sort of you can go with the flow, you know.
What
It's
do you
like,
mean?
well, it's that, yeah, habits can be like, you know, that you talked about that guy. I just go with the flow. It's like,
Oh, right.
yeah, whatever. You know, just go with the flow. But breaking, you know, breaking addictions is really takes a lot of conscious effort.
Yeah, it does. I think it's important to identify for ourselves what our own habits and attachments are and be able to confess, I admit, just acknowledge them because we can't
Mm.
really move forward unless we see where our knots are.
Mm.
To
Oh.
me, just say the idea of a habit or attachment is like energy that gets kind of twisted in on itself.
Mm.
And that what we want to do as Sufis is look at that, go, that's that's a nasty knot. How do we untie it? Well, we have to take this part out, then we can take this part, then I can remove this part, and then this part is free.
Mm.
I mean, that's your job, man.
Mm.
You have to find the knot before you can untie it.
Mm.
But you also have to admit that there is a knot or a habit.
Yeah.
So, quick recap, my definition of a habit or attachment is anything we identify with that we think we are. I am fat, I am thin, I am tall, I am short, I am woman, I am man, I am happy, I am sad, I am a victim, I am a commander, whatever it is, when we identify with it, that's an attachment because anything else is a lie. We are beings of light. We come and we settle into this mammalian primitive body, and we have to keep unscrambling these survival objectives. Anyway, that's my opinion. The thing is when we look at ourselves and we're trying to determine, well, what's the problem here? What are my habits and attachments? And then the list begins adding up. And you go, wait a minute, this is too much. This is way too much. And
oh no, there's so many. I can't deal.
I can't deal with this. This is, I might as well just sit back and just kind of go for the ride and not try and do anything about it. Go with the flow, man. So, as Sufis, what we try to do is go, no, I can be better. I can do better. I can be a better person. And then comes this dance of how active and forthright and battle ready do I need to be to take these nafs down? So I can be with Allah, Allah can be with me, and not me with these attachments. So the first one is the intention of realizing this is something I can do. This is something as an objective, this is something that others have done and been able to do. So it's not impossible. Getting to that place requires preparation and proper tools. Alameen, did you have a question?
Yes, Sheikh. I was just thinking, with the, dealing with the nafs and having some attachments and so forth. So there's, dealing with it as you described, like the art of war, um, having, defining what the habit is, and then being aware of it, and then once it happens, have like a plan and a strategy and so forth to counteract that. But was just been thinking, and that, for me, that's always been the go-to in sort of trying to deal with, the nafs. But being on the path and with the practices, does the nafs or the habit that you're working with or that's around you tend to lose its energy as well organically, just because of, maybe just because of the practices, and you're feeling more connected to Allah without having that conscious art of war strategy? Does that make sense, Sheikh?
No, not yet.
No.
Can you rephrase it?
Well, it just feels as though sometimes, without doing anything to counteract the nafs, for this one, experiencing particular nafs that losing their energy, their intensity. But with
yeah,
does that? So it's like, is it possible? What I'm saying, is it possible just for that, just because of the practices of zikr and etc., that the nafs organically sort of lose their energy, or do you still have to have that intention and strategy?
yeah, you still do, because
Okay.
when you think about like the maqams, as you go through each one, like I said before, there's a trap in each one.
Right.
And one of the traps is to think, I don't have nafs anymore.
Yeah.
Or I'm cool. I got
Yeah.
it down. I am good.
Yeah.
It's taken care of. That's a trap. You have to go through the whole system to be able to realize there's going to still be nafs, but
Yeah.
you can deal with them on a daily basis. But and so what this is about in the first part of this, the first 3/4 of it, is becoming present. To get present, you have to figure out, well, what's holding me back from being here and now?
Yeah.
And so you're going to move through these different perspectives. And each perspective is a different view of how you fit with Allah or with the universe. And these different versions of yourself or points of view are going to be challenging at first, and then it becomes comfortable, and you go, oh, okay, well, this is cool. I'm okay here. But again, that's a trap. Because one of the purposes of the nafs is to survive. They don't want you to change. They don't want you to make any effort. They want you to be comfortable. Just sit back and relax. You are happy. You are okay. You are a good person. Don't worry. Be happy. Yeah, you can do that. You're welcome to. Nobody's stopping you. If you want to become present, that is, you and Allah are on good terms most of the time. You're with your heart is with Allah, Allah is with you, you're happy in that way. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have vicissitudes and troubles, catastrophes, and downright crises. It means that you're going to be able to adapt better and be able to flow better. But to do that, you have to know who you are at your optimum. That is a question for you to reflect on. I don't expect answers now, but a question to ask yourself is, when am I at my best? When do I feel like this is me optimally? I am engaged intellectually, I'm engaged with my heart, I'm engaged with my mouth, I am in adab, I have rabita, and I have zikr going on in my heart. And I am raking the lawn, I am painting, I am making a new batch of tea, I am working well with this client. This client has rapport with me, and we're working. This is my best. When you can identify when that is and set that as what I call your nominal setting, that is, when everything is at its best, then you can measure, in a way, what is going on at any moment. In comparison to my optimal mode, where am I now? One, I'm a little fearful going into this classroom because I don't know any of these students. This is me tomorrow. Do I feel a little fearful? Yeah, a little bit. I don't know these kids, and some of them might want to not care about music, but want to be producers, whatever that is. So, this whole Gen Z coming in who don't want to work hard, who don't know what effort looks like, and don't know what they want to be when they grow up or anything like that, is a kind of like spongy anxiety. It's kind of like not anxious, but what? What do you want? Why are you here? Kind of attitude that I feel. But I'm going to do my best. I love teaching. I love, asking questions and working with people to find their best in music and other things. So that's me. I'm just talking personally what that's like. For you, it's going to be something different, but finding what your optimum is and then comparing that to your present state. And then the question then comes up, if I'm feeling anxious or frustrated, how do I return back to my optimal state? Because there is no steady state that I know of. But finding where you want to be generally, the territory, allows you to keep that as a central focus for yourself so that you can return back to recharging, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Knowing that helps you understand how to deal with the present moment. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have hidden resentments, hidden anxiety, and annoyances. They all have a core or kernel or seed to find and remove. So that's part of your process as well. The goal is getting to be present so that you're experiencing this moment with all of your being. That is not happening when you are thinking of the past and maybe calling up a resentment or anxiety or panic, or lost in the future thinking, boy, if I were this and I had that, and if there was only blah, 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 then you're not in the present. You're in wish land. And wish land doesn't happen unless you take care of the present. And the past, you can't change, but you can withdraw through reflections the juice of what you learned from an experience or event. Yes, no,
Yes,
understood?
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's not easy. And the problem with some of the identifiers that we have, these attachments, is we think built into them is negative value added. What's he talking about, Agnes? I'm talking about sometimes we think we shouldn't think things. And by doing that, we add more nefs into an already nasty nefs. So if I think I'll never be successful, that's an attachment. You're identifying with something, that energy. And in doing that, you've added an unnecessary nefs to a nefs. You're identifying with it even more. You're doubling its power. Objective here is to reduce its power over your choices and thought processes. The idea of victimhood or, the why me? Why does this have to happen to me? And that happens because you're comparing yourself to others and that kind of stuff. So the idea is to identify the, I just came up, this idea of the negative value added. You want to make sure that you don't do that. And one of the ways, the best way to do that is, one, to forgive yourself. When you're doing the best you can, that is what is required. Because Allah knows what is going on in your heart. If Allah looks in your heart and sees that you're doing your best, that Allah can help you. Allah can be on your side. But when you put this other veil over that and go, oh, I'm such a smuck. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't think these things. I should be, it's just kind of like Allah's trying to get in and you're going, I don't want any help. I don't want anything. I don't deserve anything. I am not worthy. That's a horrible negative added value nefs. See what I mean?
Yeah, I get that shit.
My unsolicited advice is don't do that.
Casually.
It's hard for us Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mea culpa, mea culpa. Yeah, and some of these are almost hardwired. I mean, if they've been in since birth, oh God, we saved you just in time. That was close. You almost were Satan's child. All right, so part of Sufis, what we have to do is figure out our bank, what we have stored in our resentment bank, and look at it and go, okay, when I was 4, this and that happened, and I'm angry about it. You were then, but you may have forgotten about it and stored it in your resentment bank. And so when certain events happen that triggered that memory, there's an emotional and physical reaction that happens. It can be a panic attack, embarrassment, a freezing up, any of the fight or flight bits, or withdrawal, or anything that you used at that time to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. Could have been sucking your thumb, could have been hiding in the closet, could be hiding under the bed, could be jumping into the bed and putting the covers over you, whatever. It's just going back and figuring out what are my triggers, what are my identifications and attachments. And a lot of this is just witnessing yourself. And the way that you do that is by being present with yourself. When you're present and one of these things comes up, you go, oh, look at that. I feel really anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? And it could have been something that somebody did or said that all of a sudden you find yourself withdrawing. And you go, this is weird. But like I say, to do that, you have to know what your nominal is, what you are when you are best at rest. Like after zikr, or after salat, or after being with your friends and you feel really good. Taking stock of that and looking at that and going, I feel really good. Bing, mark that. Bing. That's nominal. That's good. That's where you want to be more of. And to do that, you have to look at what's getting in the way of that. And that's where the resentment bank comes on, because sometimes that file will flop out with you looking at it and making you feel weird. And you go, why did that happen? You thought you had it stored up and locked in the vault, but it isn't like that. Triggers. So then when one of those comes out and you look at this attachment, you go, what do I need to do to let it go? That's first question. What do I need to let it go? So the question that comes under that heading would be, why am I holding on to it? What does it give me that makes me want to hold it? Because we hold on to things even if they're uncomfortable, because they are known and they make us feel like we know what we know. But when you look at it and see, no, you're not going to slip away this time. I'm going to look at you. When you made me feel like I was stupid, what I did when I was 6 years old, I would withdraw and not play anymore, for example. Well, you need to look at that and go, well, does that work now? Is that something I need? Does that help me in my daily life? Does it improve me? Does it help me be better? No. No, it does not. So then you figure out, what do I need to do to let it go? One, I'm holding it because it helped me then. It doesn't help me now. So you have some choices about how you want to undo this habit. One, you can go and talk to your 6-year-old self and go, listen, I love you, I care about you, and I've grown up now, and we don't need that anymore. You can let it go. And then see what the kid says. But the idea is to make friends and be caring, give them a hug or her a hug and say, we're okay. We're all right now. Don't worry. I got you. I got your back. We're going to be all right. And as for those people, they end up, not our problem. And it's not our problem now, and it's not your fault. Saying that to your younger self may be helpful. It depends on how deep the attachment is and what you need to do. But remember, any of this takes time, focused effort, a good strategy, and
sense of humor.
Thank you. I have taught you something that you'll remember.
Go team. We did the thing.
All right. So, does that help answer your question about habits and attachments, sir?
Yes, that does help, Sheikh. Thank you very much for that.
And we hold on to them because they helped us at one time, but now when we're grown up, we want to take care of that and reduce the amount of energy that it takes to maintain those. We don't need them anymore. So we do them one by one, letting go of them so that we can be present.
Thanks, Shay.
Yeah, anything else?
My brain was just thinking about the ones that didn't help us back then, and then I remember that that's a coping strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they were.
Yeah.
I can recall some very clear choices I made when I was 7 years old that I don't need to make anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, flashback.
We've all got them, Shay.
Oh man, flashback on the playground. Okay, oh, that'll do. All right.
Thanks, Shay.
Sure. Talk later.
Thanks, Shay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Salam Alaykum.
Welcome, Salam.
Bye-bye.
Salam.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Salaam Alaykum, murids, seekers, curious, and interested listeners. We appreciate you and are happy to share our Sufi message. Your donation will help support our Sufi Center in Sydney, where we do zikr, sohbet, spiritual counseling, and healing services. We believe the message should be free, but it costs equipment, rental, services, software, and hardware to get this to you. So thank you for choosing our podcast among all the millions available. If you go to our website, ansarisufiorder.org, you will be able to donate through PayPal whatever you think this information is worth to you. Blessings and love, the Australian Ansari Sufi Order.